Hey everyone, it's Cam from Arsenal Theory Podcast, and I'm trying to put a brave face on things, but inside I'm utterly dead. Reaction to the Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2 game from earlier today. Had a few hours to kind of let it marinate in my brain and kind of calm down a bit. Don't think I've calmed down that much. If anything, I've probably got more angry, which seems weird. We didn't lose, but it feels like a loss. So this is going to be just like a therapy session for me, to be honest, just to try and get this off my chest so I can salvage whatever's left of the weekend and not have it hanging over me for the rest of the week. So straight away, things didn't start off great in the game because, as per usual with Arsenal, we seem to have a lot of injuries at the moment. So obviously Martinelli got injured last week. He was out. And then yesterday, or the day before, yesterday, Trossard picked up some kind of injury in training. So then both our first choice and second choice left-sided attackers were out of the game. So that changed the lineup. That brought Jesus onto the left and Eddie Nketiah up front. Fabio Vieira kept his place in the team. Apart from that, it was pretty much kind of how you'd expect the team to be. Raya started in goal, as pretty much everyone thought he would. And then you had Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko and Ben White, Odegaard, Rice and Vieira, and then the front three of Jesus on the left, Nketiah up top and Saka on the right. And, you know, the opening parts of the game were quite interesting, actually. Tottenham seemed to have a lot of the possession, but were having it in their kind of opening third of the pitch. And what they were doing they were also trying to play out, and it reminded me a bit of when Arteta actually joined Arsenal, where we were trying to play out from the back, but we just didn't quite have the personnel and the muscle memory to be able to do it properly. And so things were kind of, you could see players kind of thinking about what they had to do as opposed to just kind of knowing. And that's what it looked like with Spurs. And there were several moments in the first half where we came so close to turning the ball over, or we did actually turn the ball over. And we had two or three really good kind of attacking opportunities just from the press from the front three in that first half. So, you know, the first kind of 20 minutes were fairly even. But like I said, you always felt that we were going to get a chance from a Spurs mistake at the back. And we took the lead, obviously, with Saka. Huge, well, I say Saka, it was a huge deflection, a huge own goal. But Saka kind of made the move again, that lovely move where he's on the right-hand side, cuts in onto his left. He's trying to curl it into the bottom corner. It looked like to me it was going wide, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong on that. Some people have said it looks like it was going anyway. Romero sticks a leg out. Vicario, the goal, he's got no chance, straight in, own goal, 1-0. And this is where you need Arsenal, like I did against PSV, to go on and kill the game off. But as I've been saying for many years now, we in the Premier League especially, we have an inability to kill teams off. And the main reason down to that is because we have poor finishers at the club. This is the only way to put it, essentially. The likes of Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus are not elite finishers. They're just not. And it showed again today. So, again, from the press, Jesus, he manages to do really well. And Rob Maddison on the edge of the Spurs area, he's in the centre of the goal. Goalie's in the centre of the goal. And all he's got to do is just slot it on either the left side or the right side of the goalie. And instead, he just panics, whips his foot behind it and blasts it like 3 yards over the bar. And it's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be an elite Brazilian striker and you're, 10, 15 yards out and you're blasting it over from all the hard work you've done. And you just felt, if we got that goal, we'd been 2-0 up, half an hour or so gone. And you're thinking, okay, well, it's going to be a long night for Tottenham. But typical Arsenal, we let them off the hook and Spurs gained confidence. I think Spurs knew that, that was a real chance that Arsenal have missed there to let us, and they've let us back into the game. And Spurs were starting to get some success. They gained some confidence because there was a long period of time where Arsenal were really on top. And we couldn't find that second goal. And Spurs knew that if they just kept plugging away, they were going to create some opportunities. And they had a nice little overlap on the right-hand side. Ball comes across. Now, a lot of people seem to be moaning at David Raya. And, I didn't walk away from this game thinking Raya was really to blame for anything. Was his kicking great today? It wasn't exceptional, no. But I don't think he was a terrible player today. And a lot of people blaming him for the first goal. So a looping cross comes in and he can't catch it. So he pushes it out. Some people are saying he could have pushed it out for a corner. Okay, maybe. But he pushes it out. There's still opportunities to clear the ball. We don't do that. And Maddison turns Bukayo Saka inside out, crosses it in, and Son nicks it into the far post, and it's 1-1. And Tottenham have just completely killed all the Arsenal momentum at that point with that equaliser. And just not quite a comedy of errors, but just a series of errors from Arsenal let Spurs back into that. And in my opinion, the biggest being Gabriel Jesus. I don't know if there are any stats on this or any clips on YouTube, but the amount of really good chances he has missed since he has joined it feels horrific. It really does. Now, I don't have any data to back that comment up right now, but the game's just happened. I'm emotional, so maybe I'm being out of hand here, but it just feels like he's missed loads and loads of chances since he joined the club. And yeah, he scored some of them, but he's missed a lot that he should have been putting away. And the one he missed in the first half cost us 3 points today. So I hope he has a sleepless night, to be honest with you, because it's pretty pathetic for someone of his supposed quality. So we get to half time and things don't get much better. Let's get this up on here. More disaster. Declan Rice, the guy that's never injured, played, I don't know how many consecutive games for West Ham, gets an injury, doesn't come out for the second half. Apparently there's something up with his, I've heard it's his calf, and then apparently Arteta said something to do with his back. Who knows? So apparently he told the club that he couldn't go on, so they took him off. Jorginho comes on, and the manager took off Vieira. Now, again, I heard that it was an injury to Vieira, but then the manager said it was tactical. So the only thing I can think is that he didn't want to have Jorginho and Vieira in midfield because that would just be too lightweight, especially with Odegaard there. And so he's brought on Havertz for some physical presence, which I think he provided, actually. That was pretty much all he provided, but he provided something that Vieira couldn't do. Vieira's first half wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. It was kind of like a steady first half, really. But so we made the changes and we managed to actually, obviously, take the lead. An interesting handball. Ultimately, I think it was the right decision. I don't know what Gary Neville's going on about, saying that the player's hands are in a natural position. Hits the guy on the hand. Hits the guy on the hand, on the arm. The ball's going towards the goal. It's like, that's a penalty. That is a penalty. And I'm so glad that they gave it. Saka down the middle, 2-1. And you're thinking, well, let's just, don't do anything stupid. And literally, within 30 seconds, we concede the goal. Jorginho had some kind of brain fart. That's the only thing I can describe it as. He receives the ball from the kickoff and he's looking left, he's looking right, he's scanning. He's got options galore. He's got the centre-backs he can pass to. He's got Ben White. He's got lots of options and he takes none of them. Dilly-dallies over the ball, gets pocketed by Maddison, who slips in Son, and it's 2-2. And the stuffing just got knocked out of the team at that point. So it was like all the things that Arsenal are known for just all converged to come against us at the same time. So injuries, poor finishing, and individual errors, which I feel all three of those things have been something that we've excelled at, unfortunately, over the last few years. And so that all just came to a head in that kind of moment there. because you feel if Declan Rice was on the pitch, that probably wouldn't have happened. Gabby Jesus had finished the chance that he should have finished, we wouldn't probably be in that position. And then Jorginho's individual error, if that wouldn't have happened, Tottenham wouldn't have equalised straight away. And, you know, the next kind of 10, 15 minutes after that equaliser, Spurs were just looking very, very dangerous. And I remember thinking with about 20 minutes to go, I would take a point. And I remember in the WhatsApp group with Sean, who was on the other week, you know, I was saying to Sean, hey, I'll take a point here. And he was going, no, you're an idiot. Don't take a point. He didn't call me an idiot, but he said, no way. No, we're going to come back and win this. And I thought Tottenham played really, really well. I think we then managed to come back into it a little bit, but we couldn't really lay siege. And I don't know why. And Nketiah did the full 90, and Gabby Jesus did all his time up on the wings. I don't know why we never pushed Jesus up front. What I will say, though, is that people that criticise the subs, I think substitutions is a place where you've really got to give managers slack, because we don't have any of the information at the time a substitution is made. We don't really know what's going on. We don't know if the player's injured, carrying an injury, or it's in the red zone, has said something about discomfort, or you've got no idea sometimes why something happens. And so it's very difficult to judge a substitution in that sense. So, but it was disappointing that Declan couldn't come out for the second half. And then it really, you know, we showed our immaturity, we showed how emotional we are, and it just became a bit end-to-end towards the end. And I'm glad that we got the point. Even though it feels like 2 points dropped, it's probably a point gain, because we could have very easily lost that game. You know, Son was on fire. Maddison was getting more and more into the game. Odegaard, apart from his pressing, just essentially kind of disappeared, I felt. Was nowhere really to be seen. And that caused us, you know, when your captain is not there, it's not good, is it? So very, 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 very disappointing. Like I said, though, 10 minutes of injury time came up. And it was interesting because both fans kind of went mad, because both fans felt they could win it. You know, we felt we could repeat history like we did against United, and Spurs definitely smelt blood in the water and felt they could nick something on the break. In the end, neither happened. And when I look at the substitutions from halftime and I look at the impact that they had, I thought Havertz, obviously Jorginho had a huge impact in that he gave Tottenham the equaliser, and Havertz, he just, you know, I just don't think it's going to work. I really don't. People are praising him for really doing real minimal basic stuff, like winning headers and soaking up play and defending balls. It's like, well, he's 6'4". He should be winning headers. That shouldn't be something to necessarily clap him for. And I'm just not seeing anything to suggest, not only to suggest why we've bought him, but I'm not seeing really much to suggest that anything's going to change within him. He doesn't look like he's up for it. Now, I understand that could just be a body language thing, and his facial expressions are quite kind of monotone, I suppose. So you can't really see what's going on there, but it doesn't look like he's hurting, and it doesn't really look like he's trying to really make a difference. He had one kind of volley from the outside of the area, went way over the bar. His shooting is like Thomas Partey at the beginning of, I think it was last season, where he was just skying everything, or was it the season before? I can't remember. But remember, there was that period where everything was just going like 15 yards over the bar. And that's the same with Havertz at the moment. You know, and I think we spent £65 million on him, and we've been ripped off. We've been fleeced. It's like there's nothing there. I just really don't see anything there. And we've got Jorginho from Chelsea as well. You know, I mean, between the two of them, that's £80 million that we spent. And it's not looking like good value for money at the moment. On top of that, we've got rid of Granit Xhaka. It's like we've got rid of Xhaka, but we haven't replaced him. So I don't know how long it's going to take Havertz to get into the game. He's already been dropped by Mikel because he's starting with Vieira at the moment. It was nice to see Smith Rowe come on. And I know I said earlier on about criticising substitutions. You have to be a bit careful with that because you don't really know what's happening. But it really would have been nice for him to have come on with more than 3 minutes to go. It's like, you're not giving him an opportunity to get into the swing of things. And Saka was on his arse, been kicked pillar to post, gone down at least 2 or 3 times, rolling around through the game with what looked like bad injuries, and then just eventually just couldn't carry on. And we brought Smith Rowe on. It would have been nice to have seen him play with Saka because then they both have a connection and a kind of language. So that was a shame. I thought Smith Rowe, when he came on, it was only 3 minutes, but he looked like he meant business. So he wasn't off the pace. And it's just, it goes back to Havertz, really. I think one of the, sorry to keep going on about it, but one of the real big frustrations is that he's keeping someone like Smith Rowe out of the team. So unless Smith Rowe is just a terrible trainer, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why he's not getting more minutes, because the performances have shown that there's room for someone like him in there. If Kai Havertz comes in and is scoring goals and getting assists galore, then you go, okay, then. But that's not what's happening here. That's not what's happening at all. So I think Mikel's going to have to hold the L with Havertz. It's like when we signed Willian, but with more noughts on the end. At the time, I thought it was a terrible signing, and I've tried to put a positive spin on it in previous vids and tried to kind of toe the company line, I suppose, where you don't want to rock the boat and you just want to support everything the club and the manager do. But I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm really just going to say what I think. And at the time, I thought it was a terrible signing. And if we could return him, if he was on we had like a 3-month return on available on him guaranteed, then I would certainly be sending him back to Chelsea. But we don't have that, unfortunately. So fair play to Spurs. I thought they played really well. I mean, they did look like a team that had a week to prepare for the game. And obviously we had our game on Wednesday evening. And I think that obviously just took a lot out of us. So when you consider we played the midweek game, we lost Martinelli, Trossard, Declan Rice. We don't have Thomas Partey either. Then with Vieira came off as well. It's not great. Trossard as well. It's not great for the squad. And I think any team that loses that many players is going to have problems. And you're seeing that with the likes of Man United at the moment. They've got lots and lots of injuries. You're seeing it with Chelsea as well. And I think any club that has that will struggle. So it's interesting, in the confines of the game, we should have won it and we had lots of opportunities to win it. But when you look at what we had to deal with coming up to the game and during the game, and Spurs still couldn't beat us, despite all that, despite us losing all these players, then it's probably not a bad point. So yeah, I'm a bit all over the place with the result. Can't quite make up my mind on it. But I think ultimately, if I had to point the finger anywhere, I would point it at Gabby Jesus. And what I would say to Mikel Arteta is he's got this reputation as being just extremely ruthless. And he's got that reputation because he is. Look how ruthless he's been with Ramsdale. Look how ruthless he's been with Kieran Tierney. Look how ruthless he's been with Emil Smith Rowe. Well, I think it's time to get ruthless with some of these attackers, specifically Gabby Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. They are, if we want to win the league, we need more elite finishers. Simple as. And it's an area we haven't really spent much. And you think, just that money we spent on Havertz, we could have put that towards a striker. We could have just put that towards a striker. I just don't understand. I don't understand the decisions we've taken in terms of squad building, because it's really I feel like it's starting to expose things now. So anyway, I've gone on a bit of a rant. I might do a video tomorrow kind of apologising for some of the things I've said. But to be honest with you, that's just how I feel right now. That's how I feel. It's very, very disappointing. But we live to fight another day. We've got Bournemouth in the week, and then, sorry, we've got Brentford during the midweek, and then Bournemouth at the weekend. Hopefully, you know, the likes of Trossard will come back, Martinelli maybe on the bench, and might not want to risk him with a hamstring, and hopefully Declan Rice isn't too bad either. But expecting a lot of changes for the midweek Bournemouth game. But listen, look, if you watch the video, please like and subscribe. Please comment if you've got some opinions on how the game went. And yeah, I'll try and calm down now. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.